shook your hand.
That was amazing.
Okay, how you guys doing? Great, okay. This is Nachilala. Yes, she's the executive director, One Campaign Africa. Yeah, it's so good to be here. Wow.
We're so thrilled to be here, and we're also looking forward to a very fun morning. Yes. So we have so many things planned for you. Wow. But before we do that, we've got some goodie bags for you. Wow.
Okay, before that, guys, we'll see your house. Yes, take us there.
Did you just finish doing breakfast?
Yeah. We still have breakfast? Nice.
Lovely. Wow, beautiful house.
Thank you. Really nice. Really nice.
Yeah.
You want to start from outside.
Okay.
So he's a lovely phone.
I know, happiness, hand of their life.
Jacuzzi. That's why we have a club every Saturday morning.
Got you.
And that, we don't know all is closed, but that's where we have our games. It's called Hockey Arena.
This is our clubhouse. It's open.
Oh, yes, also you can have a look.
Check it out. Nachilala. That is a beautiful name. Okay, thank you. I love it. Thank you. I'm a Zambian, but have become Nigerian.
Oh, you're Nigerian.
Oh, wow. So who's the resident DJ?
DJ. And the other stars changes all. Awesome.
Lovely.
Yeah. I see that from time to time.
Kitchen, you have seen.
And where's the fitness center?
Yes, we are.
Okay.
This is what we call the bungalow.
Bungalow.
The only bungalow in
Amazing bungalow.
Then this is the conspiracy box. Conspiracy box. If you mess up, you're dead.
Yeah, they some of those most where they pop.
Bedroom. This is where the haves stay, and then the have-nots stay.
This is our executive lounge. Executive lounge. We have the Friday night games.
This is it. Really
Very cool closet. Our walk-in closet.
And you decide that you now need to reach them. Those kind of things.
Oh, good. Let me have a call. Oh my God.
Then this is where we call the aquarium. So these are the guys
Okay, this is little uncle. You guys have 2 minutes to go take your baths and change. I will wait down there for you guys. Oh, 2.
Yes.
Sorry.
What are lots to do? Thank you.
You have lots to do too.
Quickly, lost. Not be bad, don't change now.
No names.
Sure.
Yeah, no names. Yeah, so we got white and black ones. Is it up to? The timekeeper, not very good.
Yes, I think we should do that. And then I celebrate. I'm going to celebrate. I'll celebrate 3 women.
Oh, cool.
Second loss. So how are you?
I don't feel too well today.
What's wrong with you?
I don't know, I think I'm
T-Bus area?
maybe. Maybe.
Basi, while you're at that, can I have some water, please?
So water?
Yes, sir.
Okay, good. I'm going to.
Thank you. Wow, ratings. How's it going?
Very fine. Very fine. Nice to meet you. Yeah, no problem. Oh, but the nice stuff is that I grew up in Jos.
No, try feeding you, don't break out.
No, just say one and repeat in Jos. Fresh boy.
Oh, Jos.
Yeah, I grew up in Jos.
Really?
Yes, that
I think to shout out Jos people.
So you go St. John's now.
You know my history.
That's it.
That's nice.
I mean, when I enter, so they see you. When you change your picture is there.
Oh, actually, there.
Yes.
Oh.
So I grew up in Jos.
Speaking Hausa?
Yeah, I speak Hausa.
Awesome.
Yes.
Awesome.
I let them born.
So come on, nobody's from Sudere here.
I only go to school.
When I first became to me, I found out for lyric I am not
No, how's not going on? Yes, we do.
based on your logistics.
No. Okay, leave the answer.
Yes, I'm okay.
Nice one. That's good.
Small.
How long have you been in Nigeria for?
In and out since 2014.
Oh, okay.
Okay, what's happening to the rest of the guys?
We make sure.
To change share, now you're taking at 10 hours.
They don't marry you,
I'm not married.
You don't marry,
you're married.
We twins. Back to back.
Shy. Boy. You took my stock card. You didn't give my ticket money. Alright, cool. Okay, now we gotta go quick.
Yeah. Okay.
I should speak as well.
Oh, wow.
Is the water?
It's just a drink.
Okay. Mercy. You said ask me to cook food. I forget. All the water is taking you like a friend planting. I don't finish the action of the worker. I can't is telling my mom. Okay, guys.
Yeah, I think we should get started.
Coming through, who can remember her name?
T-Boss.
No, this one are serious stars. If you can't remember her name, you are out.
It's high to the price, the major price.
You are out.
Charlotte.
Not only Charlotte.
Yes. Nigerian, but honored Nigerian.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Zamjirian.
Yes.
Oh boy, you can't also do. No messing with you.
So should we start with that?
Yes, it's not easy already.
Easier.
Okay, go.
Okay, so fantastic. So before we go into the purpose of our visit today and the things we're going to do, I just thought for the sake of the viewers and maybe some people who may not have gotten the information the first time Waterland was here, for us to introduce one again. So one is a global campaigning and advocacy organization. It's got a membership of over 7 million members worldwide that participate in various actions that call for governments to increase their investments and policies to address poverty and disease. So whether it's in Abuja or in Ottawa or London or Washington, these are the activities of the members that we have. So all those 7 million members, half of them are in Africa and 90% of them are in Nigeria. So our lion's share. So even if we're a global organization, we are local where we work. So in Nigeria, one is a Nigerian organization. So just to sort of give you some perspective.
I have been an ambassador for one for many years now.
Yeah.
And I love them because of the cause they push. But before we go deep into one, I'm sure she wants to say something about the women.
Yes, so maybe kind of to pause on that, we're here to talk about our girls' education campaign, right? But I think for you to also better understand how we've worked over the years and in Nigeria, I just thought it was important that I worked for one.
No, how old is one?
14 years.
Oh, really?
Yes, it's a young organization. It was co-founded by Bono and other activists. And at the time when Africa was owing a lot of debts to European and American countries, and so the word there at the time was to say to the American governments and European governments, this debt is too big, it's not payable, this debt has to be cancelled. Because what was happening then, I'm sure most of you were young, is that most of the African governments were getting a large share of their budgets to pay debt outside. So they couldn't have medicine in clinics, could not fund textbooks in school, so it just did not make sense. It just meant that we were going to remain behind as Africans and other poor countries. So, I mean, we've worked in Nigeria since 2014 when we did the work on agriculture. I don't know if any of you know the song Coconut Chocolate?
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah, exactly. Exactly. Yeah, so Femi Kuti and 19 other African actors came together to say, look, you guys, we need to call on our leaders to do something to change agriculture. We are a rich continent. We have land, we have water, we have everything. We shouldn't be eating rice from Asia. It's embarrassing. It's not right. So that was 2014. 2015, one launched a campaign called Poverty is Sexist. And the idea of the Poverty is Sexist campaign was just to recognize that anywhere in the world, the face of poverty is a woman. Okay? Even when you look at opportunities to employment, opportunities to access credit to do business, even to access land in the rural areas, in Nigeria, women have a harder time accessing land. Talk about accessing education and health. So as a campaign focused on fighting poverty, we say we will not succeed if we don't take a specific focus on ensuring that women's empowerment is central in everything that we do, whether we're talking about healthcare, whether we're talking about education, whether we're talking about the economy. So in 2015, we got Waje again backing us up with Yemi Alade and several other activists again to really bring a focus on this issue of the importance of women's empowerment. Fast forward last year, we did a campaign which is actually still running to try and get the federal government of Nigeria to make health a priority around the country. You might not know that a lot of people in thousands die every year, maybe about 300,000, from pregnancy and sort of disease that are preventable. Many more than those maybe that die from violence due to insecurity. I mean, no one should die because of violence, but the government has done a good job in terms of really responding to that. So our Make Nigeria Stronger campaign was really trying to say, look, Nigeria has no business having so many people die every year from preventable diseases, from diarrhea, just because you can't get a malaria test, so you don't get the right treatment and things like that. And again, we did behind that campaign, Honorable Des was with us. So you want to talk a little bit about that?
Oh, yes, ma'am. Thank you. We kind of impressed it upon the government of the day, federal and some state governments, that they should dedicate 15% of their annual budget to health, primary health care. Because like she said, we realized that a lot of people die from just the most simple illnesses, women, and those are vulnerable in our society. We're talking about women and children. So we had to do that. And then, yes, the response was really great. We had people come sign on to one.org, and then we put it right before the Senate President, which we did last year, Senator Bukola Saraki, and then, and he responded positively. So the good thing is, even though we're not at 15% now, most governments are increasing. Upon every street in Lagos now, you can see a signage that says, there's healthcare here, there's healthcare there. So whenever you're ill, you can always just walk there and get it, because health is wealth. You understand? So that's the kind of thing we push. And one major great thing we asked was, there was an agreement every African country had, or most African in the sub-Saharan region had with Nigerian agreements, that they would dedicate 1% of the Consolidated Revenue Fund, which is the CRF, to the health sector, because we realized that the health sector in basically not just Nigeria, Africa as a whole is going down. But if you dedicate this into health,
then you're building a nation. So she'll talk about how we can.
So come 2017, right, we're focused on women again. And the big issue we have is to try and get the federal government and state government and global leaders actually to deal with the crisis of girls' education globally. I think when Omotola was here, she did mention that 130 million girls who should be in school are not in school. I think that's a scandal that hasn't gotten the world attention. And so we're hoping that maybe we can find ways of working together with you guys to see to it that something is done, at least in Nigeria or in Africa and globally, to make sure that the actions and investments that are made by government to improve the situation. But before we go into the campaign and the details of that, today is a special day, yeah? Of course, we're here for two reasons. Number one, we're big fans of the show. We are rooting for each one of you to win. Whoever wins, everyone has won.
Yes.
But secondly, today is an important day. I don't know who's following. I know you guys have been in the house to sometimes watch.
It's a timeless life.
It's a timeless life. Who knows what today is? Yes!
See, you guys left and woke up and just
Can somebody tell me what it signifies? Why do we celebrate International Women's Day? Good.
Marginalization for women, so it's to bring them to the forefront.
Right.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay.
And understanding that women means power, really.
Exactly.
Look at it critically, they are the stronger, of the two sexes.
Yeah.
And then, once you give them that form of, empowerment, you see the force come forth.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. So yes, all of you are right. It's a day when we need to recognize the accomplishments of women in different fields, from the political field, cultural field, economic and scientific fields. And because of our cultures, sometimes women's contributions are not fully recognized, and that's a problem, and we need to change that. And if we're not recognizing half of the population in any country, then it's half of the resources going to waste, isn't it? Yeah. So there's that fact. But much as we have made progress, the women in this room, all of us have had some education, but there are a lot of other women who haven't had. So we should not be content with the fact that maybe we're going somewhere that it's okay. It is not okay that in Nigeria, especially in the north of Nigeria, only 3% of girls finish secondary school.
Yeah.
Okay? So what can you do with your life if you don't finish your secondary school? And, if the government defers action, these women will mature, these girls will mature into women. And they'll be trapped in the cycle of poverty. So it comes back to our point of poverty having a female face. If we're going to deal with poverty, we need to deal with the conditions that women face. So,
bringing back to the great realization again, if I may now,
yes.
Is that statistics have shown that you actually have 31% increase in women if they are educated yearly, as against 13% in the gross domestic product for men. For men, you have 13%. But for women, for every woman you educate, you give an education to, statistically, you're growing your economy by 31%, as against 13% for women. So I think that is something we should really seriously look into. And if you grow a man, if you train a man, you're training an individual. If you train a woman, you're training a family. So that's why it has become really important that we share this with the world, we share it with you guys, because you guys are superstars now. So if you have that right here, I think it's going to go really far.
Exactly. So I think before we go further into discussing the education campaign, maybe we should take a moment to just recognize Nigerian women that have contributed significantly across the years. So let's just say names and say a little bit about them.
She was very fair. She was very fair and very level-headed, so to say. Where she was heading in NAFDAC, that's National Agency for Food and Drug Administration and Control. She was very, very diligent in her jobs. Within that period, we had lots of very high reduction in fake drugs. And then you could go to a normal chemist, read history, and you get a very different product. So shout out to that.
Speak of the Chief Mrs. Margaret Ekpo,
Awesome.
who by history, equally led in the Aba Women's Riots in, I think, 1927 or 1929, and that was surrounded by the fact that women were tasked too much on trivial things. You have a goat, you pay tax. You had a jar of palm oil, you pay tax. And so these ladies came together and decided to riot against the government of the day as to reducing their tasks, because they are the bedrock of the family. So shout out to late Chief Mrs. Margaret Ekpo.
One big shout out for Stephen.
I think she's a superwoman. She is beautiful, and she has managed to combine work and family, and she does it very well. And you would think, because she has so much, like she said, she prioritizes whatever she has to do. And I think she taught all of us one or two things. So yeah, I'll go with her.
This is the person I accept superwoman is Tom Okewale Shonaya. She is the CEO of the first radio station dedicated to women and their families in Nigeria. So that is the first, also in Africa, first radio station dedicated to women and their families. Tom Okewale
Shonaya. She owns Everybody Live TV, and that has brought a lot of food to people's table. It has brought out a lot of talent into the entertainment sector. So shout out to Moa Abu. She's a strong woman.
Former Minister of Finance. She's somebody I always looked up to as an economist. She was one of the first female, if not the first female vice presidents of the World Bank, even before becoming the Minister of Finance. And she really was one of the people who spearheaded us, the Europe and America slashing out the debts that we owe them. So yes, that was
formerly most dancers, or all dancers now, we call her Mama Saro. She is, I don't know, I don't think I have the right words to explain, but she's able to bring theatre to life and give us as dancers a job, like a constant job. She actually started there off, and she's the first person who actually brought 100-man cast for the first musical in Nigeria. And she's given, most dancers where you go for auditions, but she gave you like a lead role to play, and she's still doing production.
Stage and
stage and
No, I mean, she's also somebody that's we look up a lot. She's apart from being an awesome writer, she's also a great activist for women all over the world. Anywhere she goes, she's always.
So we're also talking about creative work, literal work.
Yeah.
But I think we also need to recognize some people politically as well.
Yes,
Okay.
Now we're fighting for the female girls. Putting her political interest aside and actually fighting for the girls for their future.
So let's give her a shout. We have also Fumi Rasokuti. I don't know if we know her. That's Fella's mother. Ulikoye Rasokuti's mother as well. I think she did a great job at bringing women to the forefront. The first Nigerian woman to even drive. Similar name as well. The woman at the House of Assembly that I also am serving. Her name is Honorable Fumilayo Tejosho. She's a very strong woman, a pro woman, a strong woman as well. So I think she deserves one of the applause as well.
So you guys have said it all, right? In terms of just the wealth of contribution women make, not only to themselves, but to other women, to other members of the community, whether it's dealing with counterfeit drugs, whether it's really giving opportunities for employment, for empowerment, for people across the board. So with that sort of context, we have this year focused on working in girls' education, with the primary objective of making sure that everywhere in the world where girls are not in school, the governments that are responsible should take some steps, make some investments, and put in policies to ensure that the girls are where they're supposed to be. A girl who's between 7 and and 15 needs to be in school, maybe even beyond that. But we find that generally on the education front, over 10 million children in Nigeria who are supposed to be in school are not in school. Okay, that's a big problem. When we talk about secondary education, I think we mentioned earlier that about 53% of girls don't finish secondary education. So that is a very big problem. So globally, we've joined forces with different influencers to bring attention to this problem to world leaders. So we launched a letter, an open letter, that's calling on leaders to actually commit themselves to do specific things to improve the situation of girls' education. And that letter has been signed by over 355,000 people from around the world, from grassroots people to famous people who are backing this cause. And today, International Women's Day, our 7 million members around the world are visiting their elected officials, their ministers, their MPs talk about this issue. So yesterday, our team was in Kebbi State to visit the governor there to discuss the issue of girls' education. And some of you may know, the education situation has been declared as a disaster there, and the situation is bad for girls. We also met with the director at the Ministry of Education to discuss the issue, to find out, in view of International Women's Day, what exactly the government is doing to improve the situation. So they talked to us about some initiatives that they are launching, but it was clear that two things: not enough is being done, and secondly, they don't have enough data even to measure progress. There are policy statements that say they want more girls to be in schools, they want to empower girls, but from a funding point of view, Nigeria is still spending less than the recommended amount by UNESCO in terms of the money it should set aside to invest in education. I mean, without education, how can people participate in the economy? You're just disadvantaged and you're just locked up in poverty. So we hope through our campaign we can be heard. We can get, government to really provide leadership on this particular issue, particularly in the northeast of Nigeria, which is where the situation of girls is very dire. They're affected by not only education services being poorly funded. There's the issue of security. Okay, there's the issue of some cultural barriers that are quite strong there. That exactly that limit the girls' access to education and continued education. So as part of the education work we're doing, mobilization work we're doing, we launched a digital campaign called Girls Count to signify that each of the 130 million girls do count, and we need to take responsibility for those. And we know that a large part of those are in Africa. A good number are in Nigeria. So us as Africans really need to do something and be proactive on this matter. We need, the government will say we have so many problems, and we say, look, this is really investing in women, is investing in the community, is investing in the nation. If that is missed out, then poverty will become second nature.
And you're breaking it down really well, because I know some of us here are really educated. But to those of us when they're outside, when we hear what they talk, when they talk, say a lot of people, a lot of girls not go school. They're not they finish secondary school. So when they talk, we say we don't launch campaign when they call Girls Count. In that Girls Count, what do you mean? We say every 130 million girls, when they the whole world, when they finish school, of which Nigeria gets great proportion. When they talk to say, we don't want just that 53% when they drop. We are asking government, our government of the day, saying they invest 100% in the education of these girls. I don't know if you understand what I talk. Education of these girls, because, as we talk about, say if you grow one girl, if you train one girl, you don't train within a whole family, a whole nation. So that's what the Girls Count campaign is about.
Exactly. So we need your help. And we need the help of the viewers in terms of really sending this message. We need to find a way of communicating to government, to policymakers. So we actually have prepared a task for you. The folders have some material that gives information about it. You don't have no folder. Where's your bag?
Okay, come on. Later, there is time to go down. Later, go check out. It's not something you can read down now. Now, we're going to digest. And in this policy brief, now task, according to what Nigeria has just said, and that task, she will tell you what's inside the task. But the benefit of Ambise, the winner of this task, not only joins us as being ambassadors in going around to talk to governments and talk to policymakers, we also stand the opportunity of speaking to world leaders at the UN summit taking place in September 2017. So nobody just wow matter, make you sit down. We're gonna leave in our face for them, I'm gonna crack this thing. Get me the best thing. I don't need judges after in which I think you need to explain that. So let us do that.
Okay, thank you so much for adding that bit. So you guys, this is it, right? Last year, governments around the world agreed to make sure that every child is in school by 2030. Okay, so if our government starts in 2029, if there's anything in 2029, we actually will not get there. So the task that we have for you is called Back to School Task, meaning getting every girl back into school. And basically, from the policy document that you have situational information. And we'd like you to come back to us with a presentation of arguments you're going to advance to government on as to why it's important to invest in education. And the best presentation, the most in girls' education, yeah. So the most compelling argument is going to be the one that's going to be awarded the prize. But
so
obviously,
convince us.
Yes.
The judges.
Yes.
Pretty much saying like you're convincing the country. Why do I need to invest in girl education?
Exactly.
Huh?
So you're not doing the task now. We'll come back in, I think in 2 days, time to hear you out in terms of how you've reflected on the topic and what you think really needs to be done.
And the winner will be announced in a couple of weeks.
In a couple of weeks, yes, at one of the eviction shows.
Yeah.
So maybe just to kind of wrap up the discussion that we've had, I think one of the things that's important we have to do, we have to count for one girl. Right? We did mention that the action that we have is where we are calling on everyone on the streets to join this activation where we're recording videos where each girl that's out of school is counted. So we'll identify a number that will collectively count and add a message, and you guys can give ideas in terms of the
people have been logging on to one.org and they're calling, you see a name, a number, you understand? We said we have 130 million girls that are out of school, you understand? So what we're doing is you call a number once you log on and then you speak for that one girl that is out of school. Apparently we've had a million plus people already. Yeah. So right now we're dealing with the 1,013th girl, yes, which we're going to do collectively right now as a group. Speak to the viewers and to the world that 1,013th girl
in 1 minute
that is out of school.
Yeah.
So what do you think we should talk about? Maybe what about that girl? This is how it goes. The 1,013th girl that what?
Could be a doctor.
Mm-hmm. Could have been a doctor, or could be a doctor. Who not only lifts up her community, but builds the nation.
Yeah.
How about that? Any other thing to add? Take the people live from the chop here.
The 1 million and 13th girl. If to say she goes to school, not only will she ensure that her kids do go to school, but the entire community will go to school, because she not go like say she goes to school, her neighbor picking not go to school when her own children they go to school.
Okay. So because we're doing it all at the same time, we need to make it simple and so that it's clear. Yeah.
Well, in 1 second, because
that's 1 second.
We need to shout right now.
We need to do a shout.
Okay. How about like this? The 1,013th girl could be a doctor, nurse, lawyer, actress.
Awesome. And you see, now the one they speak, now they speak at where? Anyway, from that, the 1,013th girl. So you talk about doctor, how about actor,
an economist, like myself,
economist,
engineer,
president,
no,
lawyer, a sailor, mechanic,
teacher, maybe a professional dancer.
politician. Yeah? And then what we finish with that could what, lift a nation? That could not only just
Live the community, but
Lift a nation, build a nation.
but could not only lift a community,
But build a nation. Yeah.
Great minds.
So, are we doing it now?
Yes.
So we're doing it now, so we'll just kind of wrap up because I think we're
Yes.
running out of time.
Yeah.
2, 3, 4, 5, 6.
So which one?
1, 2. Just start.
But
Yeah, but
what's in front of you?
Yeah.
Okay, now
So which is what we asking everybody to do out there, to just log on to one.org and then we do the same thing.
Yes, we're recording video.
Okay.
So we'll count 3, 2, 1, and we mention the number.
Francis is your name. Awesome.
So the 1 million that is girl could be papa.
Okay, can we
I know my number 3. 3.
No, he is 3. You are 4.
So what do we just go like? Let us go like this. Start this
Which
one.
way?
She can start so that we can start.
Okay, no, let's start from our place. Goes this way,
And then
this way, and then. Okay.
Okay.
Wait. At the end of the games, after everything we've called is a code of what? Because we need to see that together.
That could not only build a community, but lift the nation.
Could only lift the community, but build the nation.
That would not work.
That will
That would not only lift the community, but build a nation.
Are we good with that?
Yeah.
1 million and 13th girl.
So the one you'll have to say it together.
This
It could be.
Girl, who could be?
And then could
Could
be.
be.
All of us said could be the doctor.
Okay, could be.
Okay.
All right.
So,
3, 2, 1,
action.
action.
This is to the 1 million and 13th girl who could have been
A mechanic, a teacher,
A lawyer, an engineer,
An economist.
a politician
an actor, a president.
a computer scientist,
Or a professional dancer.
that could not only lift the community, but build a nation. So please log on to one.org and do English.
yeah.
Now, I'm not even comment anything. No. This is your meeting as well. I'm going to the world now. All right, good.
What's the worry?
You did the picture,
I mean, let's do one.
Okay, now that's fine.
Let's go like that.
Oh, no, sorry.
Yeah.
Try one more.
For one.
That's probably more.
Put your ones up.
One. What is it?
So, just a little, that's very
One for you.
like one thing.
Now one for
good.
You guys, close it.
Sure.
Okay, one everyone.
One name.
This time. This should be fine.
So last week, what's happening today?
Let's see.
Oh, that's fine. But
Yes, everyone is.
that's it. Sorry. One more.
Okay, one of us have one.
This one's the
I don't ask that too much.
You can't come. You push that come.
Awesome.
Awesome. Thank you very much, guys. Thank you for having us.
Thank you guys for having
It was
us.
awesome. Yes. Please keep reminding the viewers that every girl comes, they should take care.
My God, we good.
Take care. Nice to meet you. Take care.
Timos. All right. Okay, can we go? Thank you, my
Take care. Rooting for all of you. Yeah. Take care. Bye-bye. Big shout out to the ladies at International Women's Day.
Bye.